Hello friends, we are here today in the last chapter in the book of Titus. So this is Titus chapter 3, not a very long book. And I would say Titus so far hasn't had that much in it, to really grab a hold of and to say, wow, this is a phenomenal book. But here we are in chapter 3. It sure ends big. This is a great chapter. This is a phenomenal chapter. And so it begins and it says, make sure you follow the rulers of your area. Make sure you follow your leaders. And he's also saying, make sure that you get along with the people around you. Don't start making a fuss everywhere you go. I'm deeply paraphrasing here, but really it's just saying, as Christians, get along with everyone. And I think this is important. It's not just talking about getting along with your peers, but getting along with those that are above you. Get along with those that are working beneath you. And so what he's alluding to here is that Christianity is it's a revolution. But it's not a revolution of political power. And it's not a revolution of social power. It's not a revolution that is really of this world in any way. It goes into morality, it goes into politics, it goes into leadership. But it's not of these things. Christianity is something completely different. So when it's talking about, slaves earlier, it's not trying to completely flip upside down the whole idea of slavery quite yet, though Christianity eventually does do that. But he's saying get along with the people around you, because this is a revolution that's happening in the souls of the people and in the souls of a community. And so it's a spiritual revolution. It's so different from anything else. And he says, they're talking again to the Cretans. Titus is ministering to the people of Crete. And I think it's important to know, they were horrible people, but he says, remember that had it not been for the grace of God, we would have been the same way. In fact, we were. Paul is probably thinking of himself. I don't know what Titus was, but he is saying, we, he's talking, me, you, me, Paul, and you, Titus, we were bad people. We were horrible people. He says in the previous book, in the book of Timothy, of these sinners in which I am the worst. And so he's talking to Titus here, and he's saying, when you're talking to these people, remember that you are the only the way you are because of the grace of God. So remember that when you're talking to the Cretans. Now this applies to us very closely. I'm not saying that the people in the United States of America are the worst people in the world. I'm sure some Americans are pretty horrible people. But, anywhere you go in the world, it doesn't matter where you are. You can meet people who are any way they are because they don't have the grace of God in their life. When you receive the gospel, you receive a new heart. You receive new motives for every aspect of your life. That is something we need to remember when we're ministering to people. Not as moral superiority, though you may be morally superior. You have to remember that they need the grace of God in the same way that you needed the grace of God. Now, in the end of this, he talks a little bit about church discipline. And he's saying, don't worry about how people are following the law. Don't go through endless, pointless genealogies. Things that don't matter. In the church, make sure you're focusing on the gospel and what proceeds from it. Don't worry about genealogies or who is in power. Worry about what's important. And if people are going against what you're saying, then correct them. And if they go against what you're saying again, then correct them again. But if they continue to do it, I want you to put them out. They don't belong in leadership. They should know that they are getting away from the gospel. So that is essentially how Titus ends. He has more personal things to say, but this is a great chapter. I would read it. It reads like poetry, and the gospel is so clear within it. So I love this chapter. So that's Titus chapter 3. Have a great day. Bye.